Yo, what's up, Swag Gang? You already know what time it is, man. It's your boy Keon Mar, aka KM Swag. Back here with a video, man. We about to react to 10 starting QBs in danger of losing their job. Make sure you comment, like, subscribing. Yes, we are back here again with TBS. And let's just get into the reaction. Oh boy, these quarterbacks are in trouble.
As we begin to transition into the regular season, it's become obvious that quite a few teams still have some pretty major pain points at quarterback that sooner or later need to be worked out.
Mindset doesn't change at all. You come in, you're going to compete.
And that's my mindset. I'm here to play football. And, whatever happens, happens.
The vast majority of NFL teams have zero quarterback controversies. Nothing to see there. But there are several teams who have question marks at the game's most important position, and it wouldn't be all that surprising if any of these 10 starters lose their jobs at some point in the 2021 season. Ben Roethlisberger. To Roethlisberger's credit, he came back from a career-threatening elbow injury at the age of 38 and pieced together a season that defied expectations. Don't forget that many people thought he was totally done heading into last season. But as the 2020 season went on, Roethlisberger's overall production began to decline immensely. He had 6 interceptions over his final 6 regular season appearances, and he completed under 60% of his passes in 2 of those games. Age, injuries, and lackluster production from his receivers led to a predictable decline for Roethlisberger. Sure, he put up 501 yards and 4 touchdowns in their stunning wildcard loss to the Cleveland Browns, but the guy also
that shit was terrible,
picks
man.
in that game. We have very little reason to believe that Mason Rudolph will be able to steal the starting job from Roethlisberger. But 2019 first-round pick Dwayne Haskins, who was released by the Washington football team, could very well push for it. If the Steelers get the first-half version of Roethlisberger from 2020, the concerns are a moot point. If they get the second-half version of him, well, then Mike Tomlin will need to consider making a change. He just can't risk allowing Roethlisberger's limitations to jeopardize the team's playoff chances. Jimmy Garoppolo. It was pretty obvious from day one of the offseason.
But I don't think Dwayne Haskins can do that. I don't think Dwayne Haskins could do that, man. Like, I really don't think that Dwayne Haskins could bring the Steelers to a playoff, actually win a playoff game. Like, I don't think Dwayne Haskins is even ready for that or could even do that, to be honest. He could be or not, but that's just how I feel. I don't think Dwayne Haskins is ready.
Seasons that the San Francisco 49ers will look at a quarterback upgrade. Jimmy Garoppolo is a good quarterback, but not a great one. And the team just can't rely on him to stay healthy anymore. Yeah, the 49ers were oh so close to winning Super Bowl 54 with Garoppolo, and the team could have made the playoffs in 2020 if he didn't miss 10 games. But let's be real here. A ton of quarterbacks can shine in Kyle Shanahan's offense. The 49ers wouldn't outright admit it, but the beginning of the end of Jimmy G and San Fran began after the team acquired the number 3 pick in a blockbuster trade with the Miami Dolphins. With that pick, the Niners took North Dakota State quarterback Trey Lance, and not Mac Jones like many had assumed. At any rate, Lance has the world-class athleticism and mobility to be an absolute star in Shanahan's system. Of course, Garoppolo will open the season as the starter. It's now on him to stay healthy and produce consistently. This is a team that is built to win now. They're ready to compete for Super Bowls again. If Garoppolo's limitations as a passer hold back the offense, or if he gets injured again, his final season in San Fran will likely end with him watching Lance from the bench.
That's true.
Cousins. In case you missed it, the Minnesota Vikings used the number 66 selection on Texas A&M quarterback Kellen Mond. That tells us quite a bit. The Vikings had several other major needs, especially all over their defense. And yet, they were content using a 3rd-round pick on a quarterback, even though they have a solid option in Cousins. Cousins gets a lot of hate despite his strong statistical numbers. And with an improved offensive line in front of him, 2021 could totally mark his best season yet. But the Mond selection is a clear signal that many expect more from Cousins. They're obviously looking for him to be great. They want more wins against quality opponents. They want to go on a deep
Justin
playoff run.
Jefferson.
They don't want to be a one-and-done playoff team. And the Vikings obviously love what they see in Mond. They clearly think he's ready to start in the very near future. So if Cousins theoretically got off to a miserable start, well, head coach Mike Zimmer, who enters 2021 on the hot seat, might have no choice but to give his rookie a shot. Daniel Jones. The New York Giants features a top 10 defense and a ridiculous set of skill position players, ranging from Saquon Barkley to Kenny Golladay to rookie Kadarius Toney. The future certainly does look bright, but only if quarterback Daniel Jones finds a way to break out in his third season as the Giants' starting quarterback. Though he's displayed a beautiful deep ball and a knack for some big-time throws, Jones has struggled big time with ball security. He's thrown 22 picks and fumbled 20 times in just 27 appearances.
Oh my
The
God.
Giants' quarterback depth chart doesn't inspire much confidence, but
Damn.
if Jones can't...
I did not know Daniel Jones was doing that fucking bad, bro. I did not know he was doing that bad. That's crazy.
Make the most of a strong supporting cast, how much longer can Joe Judge remain patient with him? And don't be surprised if he decides to give journeyman backup Mike Glennon a shot. Or, the Giants could always try to trade for a veteran at the deadline. Andy Dalton or Marcus Mariota might be available by that point. If Jones struggles early and often, the Giants might not hesitate to move on. Ryan Fitzpatrick. Death, taxes, and Ryan Fitzpatrick being involved in a quarterback carousel. For now, the beloved veteran journeyman is the favorite to start for the Washington football team in week 1. But we've seen the same old song and dance too many times before. He'll start out hot with multiple 300-yard, 3-touchdown games, then cool down and prompt the coach to make a change. And the thing is, Washington has a quality backup in Taylor Heineke, who nearly led the team to a stunning wildcard win over the eventual Super Bowl champion Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Maybe that was a sign of things to come for Heineke in D.C. Otherwise, don't fully discount Kyle Allen's ability to win over the starting job if Rivera wants a change. Fitzpatrick is a
Kyle Allen is a good quarterback too now. Oh my God.
fine short-term starter, but he's too inconsistent and turnover-prone to be counted on for a full season. And with two younger, somewhat intriguing options behind him on the depth chart, Fitzpatrick is a safe bet to eventually lose the starting job. That's at least what history tells us. Drew Lock. The Broncos could have drafted an upgrade, namely Justin Fields or Mac Jones. Instead, they chose to give Locke one more chance to prove himself, albeit with some competition. New GM George Paton traded for former Carolina Panthers starter Teddy Bridgewater, giving Denver a suitable replacement should Locke flop in year 3. But let's be real here, though. Bridgewater is probably the better quarterback of the two. He's good at protecting the football, and he's smart when it comes to avoiding the high-risk throws. Those are two things Locke has struggled with early in his career. Bridgewater would be a nice fit on a Denver team that will be largely carried by its star-studded defense and strong rushing game. But the Broncos just don't want to give up on Locke. Their patience with the 2018 second-rounder is wearing thin, though. This team has the pieces in place to compete for a playoff spot. If Locke's accuracy and turnover woes continue, the Broncos will have an easy choice to bench him in favor of Bridgewater. It may only take 1 or 2 bad outings for it to happen. Andy Dalton. Yes, the Chicago Bears traded up to draft Justin Fields 11th overall, but this doesn't necessarily mean that he'll start, at least right away. The Bears won't want to rush Fields into the NFL, and they probably didn't give Dalton a $10 million deal to hold a clipboard from day one. It's his starting job to lose for the time being. That said, it really only feels like a matter of time until Fields gets the keys to the starting duties. Dalton, at this phase of his career, isn't a full-time starter. He was terribly inconsistent on a star-studded Dallas Cowboys offense last year. So how can we expect him to play at a higher level on a less talented Chicago unit? Allen Robinson and David Montgomery are quality playmakers to work with, sure. But those two alone won't help Dalton turn back the clock to his Pro Bowl days with the Cincinnati Bengals. The NFC North is very winnable for the Bears. They sacrificed a lot to move up for Fields. Even if he doesn't open 2021 as the starter, you can bet he'll get a good amount of playing time in his rookie year. Dalton will really have to surpass expectations to hold the starting role throughout the season, but there's really no reason for us to think that'll happen. It'll be Justin Fields' time before you know it. Jameis Winston. With Drew Brees retired, the Saints face a major question mark at quarterback for the first time since the 2005 season. The hopeful solution? 2015 first overall pick, Jameis Winston. Surprisingly, Winston saw very little action in 2020, even though Brees missed 4 games and was greatly limited because of several injuries. If the Saints started Winston in the postseason, who knows how far they could have gone? At any rate, let's not forget that Winston is just 2 seasons removed from leading the NFL in passing yards. Sean Payton, one of the greatest offensive-minded coaches ever, will have to help Winston cut down on those high turnover numbers we saw in Tampa Bay. Winston is working with a stacked supporting cast that includes a top-notch offensive line with Michael Thomas and Alvin Kamara as his top two playmakers.
Oh my God, Alvin
Despite
Kamara.
a large number of notable departures this offseason, the Saints remain in win-now mode. If Winston isn't capable of leading the offense, Peyton will not hesitate to go back to gadget weapon Taysom Hill. This guy won 3 of his 4 starts in 2020 after all. Yes, we all have doubts about Hill being a long-term option at quarterback. But if Winston's turning over the ball like we've seen him do in the past, Peyton will be happy to go back to Hill, who proved last season that he can get the job done when
Thanks to Hill, nasty.
Derek Carr. Carr's efforts helped a largely flawed Las Vegas Raiders team stay in the playoff race last season. It's not his fault that the defense has been so awful, but at some point, the Raiders higher-ups will have to decide when mediocrity as a team is no longer acceptable. And usually, when drastic changes are made, the quarterback position is among them. Carr put together a strong 2020 season, but regression feels inevitable thanks to the team losing 3 key starters on the O-line. If the pass protection gets worse for Carr, how will he manage to hold down the fort? And how will he keep the Raiders in the playoff race? It just feels like a giant mess waiting to happen. Not to mention that backup Marcus Mariota looked very good in the brief action he saw last year. Might John Gruden's frustrations lead him to giving Mariota a chance for once? We wouldn't fully discount it. Mariota's dual threat style would add another element to the Raiders offense.
It would.
If the O-line is as bad as it looks on paper, it would sure help to have a mobile quarterback like Mariota in there. Just a thought. This isn't to say that Carr will definitely lose his starting job, but don't be surprised if it happens. There are a ton of Raiders players and staffers entering a make-or-break year, and the team may have no choice but to change things up mid-season if things don't start out so well. But only time will tell. Cam Newton. Many were surprised when the New England Patriots brought back Newton on a 1-year deal, given his inconsistent production in 2020.
Oh, I knew they was going to bring up
To
Patriots.
never question Bill Belichick, who spent insane money to upgrade the supporting cast for Cam. Newton was able to keep the starting job last season because Jarrett Stidham was very unimpressive in the limited action he saw. But Cam's not the undisputed starter anymore. The Patriots drafted Mac Jones with the number 15 selection. Jones won't start in week 1, but he doesn't need much grooming. The guy can step in at any point if needed, really. In Newton's defense, he had by far the worst group of pass catchers in 2020. Now that Belichick has added a plethora of playmakers to help him, there won't be any more excuses. Newton will have to play at
no more excuses for fucking trying not to cut. But Cam Newton, no more excuses for you, bro.
Pro Bowl level if he wants to keep his starting job, because the Patriots are built to win in 2021. They cannot be held back again by inconsistent quarterback.
On the playoffs, baby.
We all know that Jones is the long-term answer in Foxborough, but for now, the starting job is Newton's to lose.
Yes.
His play early on will determine whether he finishes the season as a starter or if he's riding the pine by December.
That's true.
But what starting quarterback do you think will most likely lose his job in 2021?
Man, that is crazy, man. Y'all let me know down below, man, what you guys think. But anyways, man, I love you guys. You guys just sweat out. See you guys in the next video.